What's good, everybody? It's the Clown with Cap Show. UFC 276 is here tonight. I cannot wait. Obviously, my lock pick of the weekend is definitely Israel Adesanya, the current champion right now. He's a big favorite. I cannot wait for this fight. Jared Cannonier, the opponent that he's facing, look, this guy's no joke. I think the biggest threat for him is, look, he's hungry. Israel Adesanya cannot take this guy lightly. He has knockout power, but a lot of fighters that Israel Adesanya has fought in the past, a lot of them have had power. So what has happened with that? Look, Israel Adesanya is coming on top, which I like this pick. I love Izzy with this strong pick. That's my lock pick. And then we have another championship fight, Alexander Volkanovski versus Max Holloway. This is their third fight together. They already fought twice. Look, the story stays the same. I thought Max Holloway won the second fight clearly. I mean, he had more strikes. I think he was really the aggressor that whole fight. Look, it is what it is, but I think Max Holloway's back. That's my underdog pick of the weekend. I cannot wait. I love Max Holloway with the underdog pick. I really do. But another fight, Sean Strickland versus Alex Pereira. Look, this guy, I'm telling you, Alex is no joke, dude. This guy, man, he is legit. He's 2-0 against Israel Adesanya in kickboxing. Look, Izzy, his first fight against him, it was a decision, a loss for Israel Adesanya. This was back in 2016. Now, fast forward 2017, Pereira, he fights Israel Adesanya again, and he beats him by knockout. He knocked him out cold, and Israel Adesanya went down, and we saw Alex really get in his face. So I think if Alex wins this fight against Sean Strickland, which I do think he will, I think he should get a shot against Izzy. Why not? Run it back the third time for Israel Adesanya. Right now, he's obviously the champion. He's more improved, and I think that go a little differently. I'd probably still roll with Israel Adesanya, although this guy is 2-0 against Izzy. That is crazy, dude. That is insane to me. Israel Adesanya, obviously 22-1 in the UFC. He's a big superstar, but, Sean Strickland, we heard what he had to say against at Izzy in the press conference, saying all this stuff. This guy slept him and this and that, just really making fun of him. I think that's really fun, right? It's all fun and games, but I think the real thing starts when the fight starts. All the press, all the talk, all that can go out the window. So I think when the fight starts, that's when the real men come to play. And I love it. Now, do I like the smack talk? Yes. That's just part of the fight game. That's part of the UFC. That just is what it is. But, talking cannot win you fights. It can't. So I think you got to show up and fight. And I think Sean Strickland will show up and fight. I really do. I just think Alex Pereira, man, he's a beast, dude. This guy is unreal. He's really fresh in the UFC. He's 34. I think he's still hungry. He's still in his prime. And like I said, he's 2-0 against Israel Adesanya. So I think he will win this fight against Sean Strickland. I do think this is really a coin flip matchup, but I'm going with Alex all day in that matchup. I cannot wait. And then Sugar Shane O'Malley, dude. I love this kid. This guy, man, he brings the flair, wears different types of stuff. People can say what they want, but this guy is a fighter. Yes, he is, really, really skinny. It looks like he wouldn't be a fighter, right? If we saw Sugar Sean out in the street, we'd be like, no, this guy is not a fighter. Kind of looks like a nerd or a geek / pothead a little bit, just to mix it in between. But I love Sugar Sean. I think he's going to take this again from Pedro. But, let's not just come into this fight and thinking, oh, I'm just going to run through him. No, I think Sugar Sean, I think the only way to beat himself is mentally here. Coming into this fight thinking, oh, this is going to be another cakewalk fight for me, just like last UFC card I was on was a cakewalk. No, I think this fight, dude, he's got to take it serious or he will get knocked out. That's just part of the UFC. It takes one punch to not get knocked the F out, dude. One freaking punch. That's it, dude. Anyone has a puncher's chance. So, it's crazy. It really is. It's just part of the game. It really is. Then, obviously, I think the biggest fight is definitely Alexander Volkanovski versus Max Holloway. I think this is the best fight on the card. And a lot of the experts are saying, no, Sean Strickland and Alex Pereira is the best fight. I disagree. I think Holloway and Alexander, dude, this fight is going to go down, and I think this is going to go down. It's one of the best fights that we've seen. Another 5-round fight, then obviously Izzy and Jared's a 5-round fight, but, the Holloway, Alexander Volkanovski, I think there's so much history between the two, and like I said before, I think he won the second fight. The second fight, I really do give the leverage to Max Holloway, but I just think right now, dude, The reason I'm taking Max Holloway with the upset is I think his stand-up game is just better, and I think he's just quicker all around, and I think he's just a better fighter all around than Alexander the Great. I really do. I really think he's better than him. I just, with Holloway, I think, a lot of people say, oh, he doesn't have knockout power. He doesn't have this. He doesn't have that. Yes, I get all that, but I just think for Holloway, the key to success in this fight is volume and moving. Staying away from the punches, from the rights, from the lefts, from the hooks. I think Max Holloway, if he sticks and moves to the game plan, throws crazy kicks, I think he's going to win this fight, just by the judges alone. I don't think Max Holloway has to win by a knockout, which that'd be great, right? Or TKO. I just think Max Holloway's got to come up with an excellent game plan here. Do not go on the ground, stay on your feet the whole fight, and you'll probably win this fight. And do your crazy combos that we've seen Max Holloway do time in and time out, dude. I'm telling you what, it's crazy. Like I said, the Brian Ortega fight. We saw that fight, and really, watching it, rewatching it, it was just like, there was a part where Max Holloway kind of like takes Brian Ortega's hands, is like kind of teaching him how to box. And to me, that was just so crazy to see Max Holloway in the middle of the fight do that. It was unreal. But, we've seen so many great moments from Max Holloway from all the way, going back to when I first saw him against McGregor. Even that fight was a decision loss for Max Holloway. Now, 9 years later, will we get to see it? Let's say, Max Holloway does win and beats Alexander Volkanovski, gets the belt back. Does McGregor try to fight Max Holloway? I think that'd be a fight. I think that would do great business for the UFC on both McGregor's part and Max Holloway. I just don't think McGregor right now has got the hunger. I think anybody understands that who knows fighting, that McGregor just doesn't have that hunger anymore that he used to once have. When he first fought Max Holloway back in, 2013, like, he had the hunger then. Now he doesn't have it. He's got the money. He's got the chickens. He's cashed out. But for Max Holloway, I think the hunger's still there, and I think this fight, he really wants to win this fight. I think he does have the fire. He does have the ambition. He does have the skills and the tools to beat Alexander. The thing is he's the champion, though. They're going to get the leverage of the champion. So if it goes to decision, they're going to get the leverage of the champion. It doesn't matter what the numbers say. I think it boils down to the judges. So I think if I'm Max Holloway, I'm saying, look, I got to knock him out. I got to TKO him, and that's that. That's what I have to do. So I think that's a key to victory for Max Holloway. Stand on the feet, keep your distance, and throwing crazy combos, and I think he wins the fight. And then Israel Adesanya versus Jared Cannonier, I think this is going to be another great fight. Now, I think for Izzy, you got to stay away from the power. He's seen these guys before, crazy power in every punch. He gets that. I just think for Israel Adesanya, you keep the fight standing, and you throw those crazy leg kicks that Izzy's used to throw. And I think he's going to win this fight. This is my lock pick now. Now, will we see an upset? It's possible. Jared Cannonier, no joke, he is hungry. He's hungry for this, and that's one leverage I will give him into this fight. I think he's the most hungry fighter on this UFC card tonight. I really do. He's there. He wants it with a passion. So, I think love, passion mixed together is a strong force. So, Israel Adesanya is going to have his hands full tonight. He really is, but I think he's going to have the victory to really overcome that. Then we got the legend Robbie Lawler. I think, like I said, Brian, I like this pick. I like Robbie Lawler. Been in the fight game for a long time now, decades, and I think, he understands that, hey, my time's almost up in the UFC. He's on this main card after Lauren Murphy and Miesha Tate ended up canceling, which sucks, dude. I wish Miesha Tate was on this card. I really do. One of my favorite female fighters. I just think, I wish she would have fought this, but it is what it is. But back to Sean Strickland and Alex Pereira, I think this fight is going to be another epic fight. I think this fight and the Max Holloway fight is going to be the best fights all night. I really do. And I think, for Sean Strickland, it's really one of the things where you do not want to get leg kicked by this guy, Alex. You don't, dude. That's one thing you got to stay away from. You don't want to get caught off guard 1 second. That's all it takes. And this guy, like I said, he's beaten Israel Adesanya twice, dude. That is unreal. That's when you know this guy has talent. He has the ability to knock anyone out. If he can knock Israel Adesanya out, he can knock this guy, Sean Strickland, out. And that's why I'm going with them, dude. I'm going with Alex all day in this matchup. A lot of people are going Sean Strickland. I'm telling you, Sean Strickland's going to get knocked out. Either one of them might get knocked out, right? I'm telling you, this fight is not going to go to decision. I would bet your money that, hey, pick a winner in this matchup. Do not go decision here. Click by knockout, submission, whatever. It's just not going to go all 3 rounds in this fight. So I like Alex Pereira, and I want to see him fight, refight Israel Adesanya. I think for Izzy, if I'm Dana White and bringing in the money, do that fight. That makes sense, right? They have history together. This guy's no joke. He's a talent, once in a lifetime talent for Israel Adesanya. Same thing with Alex Pereira. So I cannot wait for this matchup. This is going to be great, but Israel Adesanya cannot look past Jared, dude. If he does, man, it's going to be a long night for him. It really is. I think Jared Cannonier, try to wrestle with him, put him up against the cage, do things that Israel Adesanya is really not accustomed to do. Because Israel Adesanya is accustomed to throw crazy kicks, crazy shit when he's standing up. He does not want to be on his back. So if I'm the coach for Jared Cannonier, I'm saying, look, we're going to have to get him down somehow, okay? Put him up against the cage, do something. But, it's easier said than done. You're going against the champion here. And I think Israel Adesanya's been the champion for, over 3 years now? So I think, it's a long shot. But, you have an opportunity, absolutely. But my lock pick is definitely Israel Adesanya. And then, obviously, my favorite fight tonight, Alex Volkanovski, Max Holloway. You guys already know that. I think this is a great fight. This is a legacy fight for both these fighters here. Whereas it's not really legacy fights for all the other fighters on this card besides Alexander Volkanovski and Max Holloway. This is a legacy fight. And I think a lot of the pressure is definitely on Max Holloway. That's one downside about picking the underdog Max is he's got to win this fight. You can't lose 3 in a row and say, hey, I want a 4th fight with this guy. You just can't. And even though I do believe he did get robbed in that second fight, Max Holloway's got to come out with a spectacular fashion, so I cannot wait. I got Izzy, Max Holloway on maybe a two-fight parlay. If you guys want to add a 3rd leg, I got Sugar Sean in this matchup, and then Alex Pereira. I like those matchups. I like them to win. I really do. I cannot wait. UFC 276 is here, baby. Get your picks from Capstick. Let's go!